Streaming live across the country, tackling the topics everyone is talking about online. Share, engage, and interact. This is Newsfeed Now.
Good morning. Welcome to this Thursday edition of Newsfeed Now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mandy Knoll. Over the next 15 minutes, we'll do what we always do. We'll take a look at the top trending stories across the country right now, including the latest on a possible COVID relief package, a teen suffering from the effects of COVID months later, how a video led to a record label and radio stations dropping a country music superstar, and how the Super Bowl is going to the animals. But we begin this morning in Washington, D.C. Congress is moving forward on a COVID relief package. Overnight, the House took steps to push forward a vote on President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion proposal without Republican support. Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer has the latest.
The White House and Democrats in Congress are full steam ahead on this nearly $2 trillion proposal. And now we're getting a sense of just when you might see that relief come through. Overnight, Congress took the next step toward passing a COVID relief package with the House divided.
On this vote, the yeas are 218 and the nays are 212.
The vote clears the way for Congress to move forward with passing the relief bill without Republican support.
I think we'll get some Republicans.
On Wednesday, President Joe Biden buckled down on his COVID relief push, joining House Democrats by phone.
We met for an hour and a half with the president
and inviting several Senate Democrats to the Oval Office to discuss his nearly $2 trillion relief plan.
Everything that the president has proposed is very bipartisan.
President Biden is working to get Republicans on board. Monday, the president met with 10 GOP senators to hash out a deal as Republicans offered their $618 billion proposal.
If President Biden works with Republicans and we make some modifications to his plan, it's entirely possible that there would be some Republican support.
Both President Biden and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen have said the $618 billion proposal is too low. But the president is considering targeting those $1,400 stimulus checks to those who need it most. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
To the pandemic now, COVID-19 is wreaking havoc on an Arkansas teen months after she tested positive. Kylie Carlson tested positive back in July. Her mother says she now has seizures and an unusual blood disorder. Her mother is documenting the medical journey and shared some videos with us. Haley Brooks sat down with them to talk about life after COVID.
Do you remember what happened?
Yes, I remember.
It's heartbreaking.
A mother searching for answers.
Not having enough conclusive evidence of what could be going on.
That's Kim Carlson's reality.
I have begged and prayed and wanted it to be me, other than her.
Kim's daughter Kylie tested positive for COVID-19 back in July. Kylie says once she recovered from the virus, she wasn't back to her old self. In fact, things took a turn for the worse while driving one day.
I pulled over because I knew something wasn't right, and I then began seizing. So I was taken to the ER, and that night at the ER, I had over 16 seizures. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't see.
Kylie says doctors ran several tests but found nothing wrong with her. Yet the seizures kept coming. Several doctors later, she's diagnosed with a condition that affects blood flow called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome.
Whenever your foot's asleep, that's how my whole entire leg feels. And so you just can't walk. And it's really scary.
Kylie was shuffling from class to class at the University of Arkansas, but now she's shuffling between specialists and doctor's visits, just trying to get back to normal. Her mom says she wants someone in Arkansas to look at the lasting effects of COVID-19.
And help people like my daughter that was perfectly healthy before this, and now we're suffering with a debilitating illness that we don't know when it will end.
In Little Rock, I'm Haley Brooks.
And we're bringing in Haley now from Little Rock, Arkansas. Haley, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. That video is hard to watch. It's hard to watch someone who was perfectly healthy one minute go to having to deal with something like that just because she got COVID. The time, the money, the resources, the drain and emotional strain this must have on her family. How are they coping with it?
I think that they're doing pretty well, but I think it's important to say that this mom is so determined. Kim had taken her daughter from 5 different emergency rooms from Fayetteville to Little Rock, trying to get answers. And a lot of people said that she was just stressed. She's just a kid. She's just stressed. But her mom knew that it was something different, and so she just kept on pushing, and that's when they finally got the diagnosis for POTS, like I talked about in the story. But if her mom hadn't kept pushing, they would not know what's going on. So I think that's important to share too.
A mother's intuition, yeah, absolutely. You know, they're telling you one thing and you think, nope, I know my kid, I know there's something else. So have doctors said to them, have they indicated from your conversation with the family that this is something that they've seen before related to COVID?
Yes. So they had said that a doctor told them that this blood disorder is something that you can get secondary to a virus. Now, I can't back that up. I did not speak with their doctor about it, but they're saying that they have seen this from COVID-19 patients as well. But a lot of people just aren't quite getting there yet or aren't connecting the dots. So it's a lot of unknowns. But from what their doctors are telling them, yes, this is something that can happen after COVID.
I guess I don't know how this works with this condition that she has. Is it something that will get better, or is she going to have to deal with this forever?
They don't know that. So she says that some days she wakes up and she's perfectly fine. Other days she wakes up, she can't walk, she has seizures. And after the seizures, she doesn't know who she is or where she is. So she just knows what's going to happen when she wakes up that day, and they don't know how long it's going to go on for.
Well, our thoughts are certainly with her and her family, and I can't imagine what they're going through. Thank you so much. That was Haley Brooks joining us from Little Rock. To another story now you've probably seen lighting up your social media feeds this week. Country music radio stations, organizations, artists, labels, all together are taking a stand. One of the industry's biggest names was caught on camera using the N-word. Video of multi-platinum recording artist Morgan Wallen surfaced showing the 27-year-old getting back home in Nashville at his house after a night out with friends and using the slur to describe someone else. Stephanie Langston has reaction from country music stars and experts.
Well, those in the country music industry that have been working to bring social justice to the platform say Morgan Wallen's actions are devastating for the industry.
It just sickened us.
And it's unacceptable, Beverly Kill, Dean of College of Media and Entertainment at MTSU, explained.
What this did is reinforced all of the stereotypes about country music as being the soundtrack for white Southern racist America. And it is unacceptable.
Female country artists were the first to sound off against Morgan Wallen's actions.
The women are leading the social justice movement on Music Row. Women are the conscience of Music Row.
Kelsey Ballerini posting on Twitter, "The news out of Nashville tonight does not represent country music." Maren Morris tweeting, "It actually is representative of our town because this is not his first scuffle, and he just demolished a huge streaming record last month, regardless." While Mickey Guyton, who has made history as a black female country artist, posted, "The hate runs deep." And later, when I read comments saying this is not who we are, I laugh because this is exactly who country music is. I've witnessed it for 10 GD years.
The question should be, where are the white male artists? Why aren't they speaking up? The time is now. We've got to speak out louder and more often until that message resonates across America that there is no room for racism in country music.
And Kill says the swift response from large music organizations like iHeartRadio, CMTs, and the CMAs is encouraging, and that she hopes that Wallen uses this as an opportunity to listen and learn.
So we are going to bring in one of our regulars from Nashville, Josh Breslow, joining us from the country music capital of the world. Josh, you and I are sitting here miming to each other because we couldn't hear each other a second ago, but this story is crazy. I mean, it's been blowing up on my social media feeds all week, and I think it's interesting that the artists that we're hearing from are the female artists saying this has to stop.
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing from people like Maren Morris, Kelsey Ballerini, who are huge stars, and they came out, I would say, within hours of that video surfacing to say this is not okay and it's just not going to be accepted. And then you all of a sudden started to see radio stations saying we're not going to play his music anymore. Then you have his record label saying we're suspending him and, his contract and that sort of thing. So it all has kind of spiraled over the time. But as you mentioned there, you're hearing mostly, if not completely, from the female artists about it.
Now, I know this isn't Morgan Wallen's first scandal. There was a situation with his mask. He was booted off SNL. He got brought back. But people are saying, yeah, this is a line you can't uncross. Do you think he's done in country music?
It's questionable. I mean, we've seen in the past day or so now, all of a sudden his music is trending on Apple Music. He's got like the number 5 and 7 song on there. It's likely a lot of people are trying to figure out who he is. So that's why they're listening to his music, maybe not supporting him. But, it's questionable at this point. It's not clear if he'll get his record deal back or what. But actually, he had an issue. It's been almost a year now, May of last year. He got arrested outside of Kid Rock's bar here in Nashville over on Broadway for getting a little rowdy out there. So he's had his own scandals leading up to all of this, even before the situation with getting kicked off of Saturday Night Live.
I did not know about that arrest. The other thing I was going to ask you about, I saw that he put out a statement saying that he was sorry. Are we hearing anything else from him?
We heard that one statement that came out yesterday morning, and that is it as far as what we've heard. I don't know if he's going to make a video. Normally in a situation like this, you tend to see the artist come out with this pre-produced kind of video to make their statement. We haven't seen that yet, but it's entirely possible he could. I think at this point he's trying to figure out damage control and what he can do, or he might actually come out and say, genuinely, I am sorry about all of this. It's still kind of up in the air at this point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he says, I need to take some time and clearly work on myself. I've got some work to do. Time will tell. Josh Breslow from Nashville. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. As we prepare for the weekend, there's one other thing everyone will be talking about. Of course, Super Bowl 55. It is almost here, and all the experts are getting their picks ready. AJ McCord spoke with some of the ones who have the best track records in the country.
Picking first, we have the newest expert here in Tampa, Jane the River Otter.
She is a very enthusiastic otter, so she tends to pick the better of the two.
Jane's only been in the prediction game for a year, but she's batting 1,000, and her people have so much confidence in her, they're already comparing her to someone else near and dear to Tampa's heart.
Brady, for sure.
Jane making her pick with almost the same certainty as her trainer predicted. Oh, she changes her mind at the last minute. Swayed by the home crowd, she picks the Buccaneers. Up next, often known as one of the smartest marine mammals, he hasn't lost in more than a year. Please welcome Nick the Dolphin.
He is on a 6-streak win right now. One of Nicholas's strengths is definitely his picks. He is excellent with his football and sports picks.
Nick, with no hesitation, heading straight for the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh man, that's not going to go over well in these pirate-infested waters. The tiebreaker comes down to Buffett the manatee.
Oh, he's definitely a beeper. He weighs about 1,800 pounds.
The veteran marine mammal has the record to show his savvy, 10-2, reminding those who know him best of one of Tampa's favorite sons.
Maybe like Warren Sapp.
He certainly knows where his lettuce comes from. Buffett picking the hometown Bucks.
All right, now we are joined right now by AJ McCord live in Tampa, Florida. First of all, that package, that was so enjoyable. Was that you? That was you. Did you put that together?
My photographer, Travis Tyke, had a very large role in that, but he did tell me that I might have a future as a play-by-play broadcaster if sports doesn't work out otherwise, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, the world is your oyster, I think. That was pure talent. I really appreciate it. All right, let's talk about security. How are you seeing security beefing up before the game?
It's definitely beefing up before the game. Yesterday there was a Department of Homeland Security helicopter going back and forth over the stadium doing what they call establishing a footprint, and that's just to ensure that there are no nuclear bomb threats, no bomb threats at all here around and inside Raymond James Stadium, where 25,000 people are going to be watching the Super Bowl live in person but required to be wearing their mask on Sunday.
AJ McCord from Tampa, thank you so much for talking with us. Stay safe out there. Excited for the game. Before we go, pets could be getting some extra love this Valentine's Day. They'll be very pleased to find out. 64% of pet parents are interested in giving their pet a Valentine's Day gift this year. That has actually doubled from previous years. According to a new study by Stella and Chewy, pets are the third most popular potential recipient of a gift this V-Day, trailing only significant others and children or grandchildren. According to the survey, 80% of pet parents plan to stay home to celebrate Valentine's Day, which may explain why pets are expected to play a bigger role in the holiday this year. And I bet 100% of pets would like a special Valentine's Day treat. All right, before we go, we just want to say we appreciate you for being here. That was a lovely way to end our show. Make sure you come back tomorrow, same time, same place, for a special Super Bowl edition of Newsfeed Now. Have a great day.